Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CEDH. I hope everyone is enjoying the new spoilers for Eldraine that just came out. Are you excited for anything that just came out? Or are you looking forward to anything? I know I certainly am planning on building Talion, but I don't know if there's any other cards currently that draw my eye. But let me know in the comments down below what you think will make an impact. And as you can see, I'm wearing my merch. I really love this design. Being able to bolt the bird, while it doesn't come up a whole lot in CEDH, is just such a pivotal saying. Plus with this, you'll actually always be able to bolt the bird, having the bird and the bolt right on your arms as well. I really enjoyed making this design. So if you like this, I'll have the link down below for you to check it out.
Also, if you like what you see, consider joining our Patreon, as with your help, we can keep producing the videos you enjoy. And if you want to play with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community that loves to talk MTG or whatever else strikes our fancy. And we would love to meet new people. Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Starting us off is Hidden Planet X with Atraxa, Grand Unifier. This is a combo control list, playing the best cards available, while countering and removing anything in our way, till the Grand Phyrexian Angel can make an appearance. Your commander is insane value, helping you refill on cards and keeping you going in the late game. The list utilizes Food Chain as a way to speed up the process while ultimately relying on thrasios as a win con. Next up is the Gingerbeard Man, piloting Tymna Kraum, otherwise known as Blue Farm. Its goal focuses on quickly assembling win cons, with one-card enablers such as an Ad Nauseam or Intuition. The deck puts a heavy emphasis on Ad Nause, Underworld Breach, and Dockside Extortionist Flickers. It utilizes a lot of fast mana to power out either explosive winds or strong early card advantage engines, such as Kraum or Rhystic Study. It usually seeks to be the fastest deck at the table, but has the potential to grind when needed. In the third spot is Vincent with Winota. This is an explosive stax combo deck that wants to play non-human creatures early and then play its commander. Using Winota's ability to cheat creatures into play at an alarming rate and overwhelm the board. The explosive nature of the deck in combination with its tightly layered combos allow for the real opportunity for Boros to play at the competitive tables. And ringing up the rear is Brazy with Rograk Tevesh. And while you might be expecting me to say this is just another Rakdos Turbo-Naz deck, this is actually Rakdos Stax. This is still a Turbo Tevesh deck, but it decides to slow down the game after the fact with either a Thorn effect or, get this, even Jackal Hops to blow up the lands and ride Tevesh to victory. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Hidden does mold to 6 and starts the game off with an Ottawaru and a turn 1 Mystic Remora. Ginger doesn't want to feed the fish and simply plays out a Verdant Catacombs. Vincent plays and cracks a Windswept Heath. He grabs out a Plateau and feeds the fish with a Chromox.
Damn, is that how we're doing it, my guy?
Ginger does have response as he cracks his fetch for an Underground Sea. He doesn't have any more responses though, and Vincent imprints his swords to Plowshares, following that up with a mere Convert. Brazy starts off with his commander Rograk.
It's gonna feel so bad if I respect the fish going forth and then everybody else just says eat a dick on it.
Just be greedy.
Yeah.
He plays a Crystal Vein as land and casts a Jeweled Lotus. Hidden draws, and Brazy feels like he'd be out of this game if he didn't continue going. He cracks his Crystal Vein for 2 and uses one of it on a Springleaf Drum. Hidden draws, with Brazy tapping out to cast Tevesh, giving another card to Hidden, with Brazy upticking Tevesh to sacrifice Rograk to draw 3, actually having to discard a gamble due to hand size. Hidden untaps and pays for his fish.
I actually got really lucky. Brazy actually was going to feed the fish. My opening hand, I'd mulled down to 6, and the only thing I had was the land and the fish. I didn't even draw another land until the Tevesh Zot. So if he didn't feed the fish, I was just going to be dead in the water. So I'm really glad it worked out for me at least.
Hidden plays and cracks an Arid Mesa for Savannah, tapping one for a Mana Vault. Ginger does have a response as he takes the opportunity to Vamp Tutor. Hidden gets another draw and debates whether or not to play into a Dockside or a Thalia effect. He decides since both Vincent and Brazy are playing Thorn effects, he casts a Jeweled Lotus, ending his turn discarding due to hand size. Ginger plays a Bloodstained Mire and casts a Mana Crypt. Hidden draws, with Ginger following it up with a Rhystic Study. He gives another card to Hidden and then cracks his fetch for a Volcanic Island, passing as he goes searching. Vincent is worried about an Atraxa hitting the field and on his upkeep Enlightened Tutors. He doesn't pay for either fish or Rhystic and ends up finding a Mana Crypt to put on top. He draws it for turn and casts a Crypt. He's still not paying for any of the taxes and has a Floated Strand as land for turn. He cracks a fetch, bolting himself when he grabs an untapped Sacred Foundry and casts his commander Winota. Ginger draws off the Rhystic, with Vincent heading to combat after that. He sends the Mirror at Hidden, triggering the Winota. He ends up finding a Sanctum Prelate who also heads at Hidden, with Vincent choosing 2 for the Prelate. Brazy plays and cracks a Bloodstained Mire for a Badlands. He then upticks Tevesh for 2 Thralls and casts a Lotus Petal. Both Hidden and Ginger draw, with Brazy following that up with a Daretti Ingenious Iconoclast. Hidden and Ginger both draw, with Daretti being downticked to sacrifice his Springleaf Drum to destroy Hidden's Jeweled Lotus. Hidden untaps and lets his fish go. He plays a Command Tower as land and starts it off with a Chain of Vapor on the Sanctum Prelate. Ginger draws, with Hidden then casting a Kinnan, with Ginger drawing.
Okay, who's someone with 2 thumbs and just realized that Sanctum Prelate doesn't stop creature spells, only non-creatures? I felt like such an idiot after I balanced it. I played all my stuff and then realized I didn't need to whatsoever.
Hidden then casts a Chrome Mox. Ginger draws, with the Chrome Mox imprinting a Hullbreaker Horror. He then taps his Vault and his Mox for 4 colorless and 2 blue. He uses the 2 colorless and a blue on a Rhystic Study. He has enough to pay for Ginger's Rhystic, and with the last of his floating mana, casts a Gilded Drake. Ginger draws another card, with Hidden swapping the Drake for a Winota. Ginger untaps and is safe from his Crypt. He has a Tundra as land for turn and casts his commander Kraum. He gives a card to Hidden and decides to hold back the hasty commander as he discards down due to hand size. Vincent is safe from his Crypt and heads to combat. He sends the Drake at Hidden, who can't block, and on his second main, Vincent plays a Vryn Wingmare, paying for Ginger's Rhystic, but not for Hidden's. He then follows that up with a Soulless Jailer. This triggers Kraum and the Rhystics, with everyone getting another draw. Brazy plays and cracks a Scalding Tarn. He shocks in a Blood Crypt and upticks Daretti for a 1/1 construct. He's not sure what to do and decides to draw more cards as he upticks Tevesh to sack a Thrall. Hidden takes 1 from his tap vault and plays a Marshflats as land. He then cracks the fetch for a Bayou and for 1 casts a Delighted Halfling. He pays for the Rhystic and with another green casts a Deathrite Shaman, using the floating blue off the Chrome Mox to pay for the Rhystic again. Combat is then held as he sends Winota at Tevesh Sot, with Brazy chumping it with a Thrall. Ginger is safe from the Crypt and plays and cracks a Polluted Delta. He grabs out a Badlands and decides now is the time to go for it. He casts a Thassa's Oracle. He doesn't pay for the Rhystic, but the Merfolk resolves, with Ginger holding priority on the ETB to cast a Demonic Consultation. It does cost him 2 mana due to the Wingmare, and he still decides to not pay for the Rhystic. And it resolves, with him naming Demonic Consult to exile his library. And while I would normally say this is where I'd go to the game review section, Hidden actually has a response with the Oracle trigger still on the stack. He ends up evoking out an Endurance, exiling an Elvish Spirit Guide to do so. He doesn't need to pay for the Rhystic since Ginger currently has an empty library, and the Endurance resolves, with the ETB shuffling Ginger's graveyard back into his library. Hidden then sacks the Elemental, and Ginger resolves the Thassa's ETB. He looks at the top 4, keeping one of them on top and the rest going to the bottom. Victor untaps, takes 3 from his Crypt, and plays a Bloodstained Mire. He has plenty of mana but no commander, so he heads to combat, sending the Drake at Hidden, with the Wingmare heading at Tevesh. There are no blocks, with Victor on his second main cracking his fetch for a Mountain, and then recasting his Sanctum Prelate, paying for both Rhystics. This does prompt a response from Brazy as he casts a Vampiric Tutor, paying the Wingmare tax, but he can't pay for either Ristic, with both Hidden and Ginger drawing. Brazy finds a card to put on top, with the Prelate then resolving, and Vincent naming 3 for the trigger. Brazy has a command tower as land, and then downticks to ready to sacrifice his construct to blow up Winota's mana crypt.
Well, I have 1 card in hand, just so you know.
I think he's gonna wipe the board. He doesn't want you recasting Winota.
Yeah, I know, but there's also 2 players with like 9 or 10 cards in hand, so I have 1 card.
I mean, that's all fine and dandy. I can only fight on the axes I can fight on.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just want to make it known.
Brazy then follows this up with a Blasphemous Act. There are enough creatures that even with the Wingmare, it still only costs him a red. That lets him pay for both Ristics as well. Hidden does have a response, as he doesn't want to lose all of his mana, and for 2 casts an Offer You Can't Refuse, not paying for the Ristic tax. Brazy gets his 2 treasures, but ends his turn just upticking Tevesh for 2 more thralls. Hidden untaps and takes 1 from his tap vault. He then plays a Misty Rainforest and cracks it to grab a Tropical Island. 3 mana then gets him an Abrupt Decay on the Sanctum Prelate. He doesn't pay for the Ristic and follows this up with 4 mana to get him an uncounterable Teferi Time Raveler. He still doesn't pay for the Ristic and then casts a Mox Diamond for 1. Luckily with Kinnan it produces 2 mana as he discards a Gemstone Mine. Teferi then downticks the Walker to bounce the Soulless Jailer and draw Hidden a card. Hidden then follows that up with another 4 mana for an Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing the Winota. He doesn't pay for the Ristic and goes and finds a Displacer Kitten. Then with the very last of his mana he casts a Lotus Petal. This triggers the cat to flicker Teferi, which can now downtick to bounce his own Mana Vault. Hidden cracks the petal for 2 to recast the Mana Vault, and reset the Teferi. He can then tap the Mana Vault, cast a Grim Monolith, and flicker Teferi through the Mana Vault and Grim to draw most of his library and generate a lot of colorless mana. Then he can bounce his Chrome Mox for a green to cast Food Chain, and loop Teferi until he finds a Thassa's Oracle, continuing until he draws the rest of his library and casts the Oracle for the game.
And before I get onto the game review, I want to thank a special Patreon supporter, Josh Schutt, for his continued support of the channel. Game review. Well, I was very fortunate. I had just enough to go off that last turn. It was fortunate for me that I countered the Blasphemous Act, so I had all the mana to fight through the Vern Windmere. Unlike Gingerbeard, who was holding a grip full of counterspells, but couldn't deploy them, because he just didn't have the mana, unfortunately. As for Vincent, I think he was turning a corner, but without Winota, the deck really struggles. And unfortunately, this was only turn 4. So, with him just playing off the top of the thing, he never really had an opportunity to really get back in the game. And as for Brazy, both him going last with the fish in play, he just really used all of his resources on the Tevesh, and unfortunately, he couldn't get enough card advantage just off the single Planeswalker to both fight the Thalia, the Ristic Study, and the Mystic Grimoire from the other players. So, that's unfortunate. And before you click off the video, I do want to say I really love this design, and I really would appreciate if you checked it out as well. I put a lot of work into this, and I literally make it. The machine is literally right behind where I'm filming this right now. So if you could give it a look, it'd be much appreciated. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.